Let's talk a little bit about something that came to me just out of fucking nowhere. Of course, in a metaphorical format, because that's how we roll on this motherfucker. If any of you are familiar with the movie Poltergeist, spoiler alert in case you're fucking not, you are aware that this movie is based off of a house that was built on top of a former cemetery. Now, former cemetery means that the headstones from this cemetery were removed, but the caskets and coffins, bodies underneath the headstones were not, and houses were built on top of this. So it's kind of like the company that built this home development site did not give a shit that there were bodies under there. They just removed the headstones and left the bodies. Henceforth, whole bunch of mayhem ensued, and this family was basically terrorized by some poltergeist based off of the bodies that were in that cemetery. So this led me to what I'm going to talk about here. And what we're going to talk about here is, if you keep that premise in mind with the cemetery, now this correlates a lot to how we manifest our realities and how we go about utilizing the law of attraction and, quantum physics and all that shit, right? So if you're finding yourself stuck and it seems like you cannot get out of a particular situation or a particular mindset or a particular emotional process, what that means, intuitively channeled, is that you have essentially removed the headstones, but you left the bodies in their fucking graves. And you just tried to build a house on top of these bodies that were already there. And now it's causing a whole bunch of mayhem. And you're like, what the fuck? Like, no, because in your mind, you're thinking that you removed these detrimental thought processes, these paradigms, these emotions, yada, yada. Right? But in essence, if you are not in your dream state, you have some more work to do, because a lot of times individuals can consciously be aware of what they're doing and what they're thinking and how they're feeling. But if the subconscious emotions are not lining up, that means that there is still some bodies in the caskets going on underground beneath the surface that the individual just is not seeing. So how do we get past these blockages? Now, if you want to think of like exorcising the demons or whatever the case, then we could use that analogy as well. What you want to do is look at the areas of where you're stuck, whatever area in your life, it doesn't matter, it's going to be different for everyone, but look to see where you have yet to resurrect something that has been going on within you. So if you have, let's say, an area in your money sector where you're like, oh no, I cleared out everything and but you're not a multimillionaire or whatever amount of money you find suitable, there's still something going on in your subconscious, in the casket that's buried underground for you to sift through and sort out. That's the fucking truth. This is how you create your reality. Once you want something, once you desire it, once you think it, it already exists, because it simply exists in another timeline that you are tapping into when the desire for said object is born. But what's keeping you from it are those things that you have not resurrected, that you're affirming to yourself that you're a millionaire every fucking day, but your subconscious, what's going on in the casket region of the fucking cemetery of your psyche, is that you might have a mentality that you can attribute wealth, but then it's taken from you easily, or money is hard to make. Number one, ain't nobody making fucking money, okay? You're tapping into a frequency of currency, and then you're simply utilizing that. You're expanding upon that, okay? So no one is ever making money. They're tapping into a frequency of themselves that is wealthy. So do you feel wealthy, right? You could be affirming all day long, you're a millionaire, you're a millionaire, you're a millionaire, but if your state of being, if there's something going on within your physical vessel whilst you are affirming that you're a millionaire that doesn't line up, and this is what we talk about when we say alignment in the spiritual community, right? Alignment means everything. All systems go. Green lights all across the board, okay? So if you're affirming that you're a millionaire, but where the fuck is your money, right? take a look in that cemetery and see what needs to be weeded out in the garden of your psyche, which might be keeping you from actually attaining that which you already know exists. This is the mentality that you have, where, let's say, you are in a new setting, right? Like a lot of times individuals will go on vacation, a weekend getaway or whatever, right? And they're thinking that that might be the space they need, quote unquote, to get their mind right, to get their psyche right, blah, blah, blah. But what's happening? You're taking that whole fucking cemetery with you, right? So you can't expect to run away from something, or what they say, spiritual bypass something. You have to get to the root of whatever the fuck it is and see where that detrimental program slipped in, because wherever you go, you're taking all of you with you, right? It's like you could build up new affirmations, much like in Poltergeist, they built up the new houses over the old cemetery, but the old cemetery was still there and they never removed the bodies. So what thoughts do you have going on? What emotions do you have going on when you're affirming to yourself that you're a millionaire, or you're with the love of your life, or you're in perfect health, or you have your ideal body type, or whatever the issue is that's going on with you? When you are affirming that to yourself and you're visualizing it, if it doesn't feel natural, if it doesn't feel like the next step, then you need to go into that cemetery of your psyche and see, where was the last time that you felt a lack in that area? Where was the last time that maybe someone told you that you would never amount to anything in that area? When was the last time that you felt bad in that area? When was the last time that you might have had a thought in that area which would potentially mislead you from thinking that you could already have what you want, right? It's all of these programs that are embedded. That's the cemetery with the bodies still there. So you can be affirming all day long. You could be building new houses all day long on top of what's already there. But if you don't get to the root of the issue, you're not going to get to what you want. It already exists. The only blockage is your alignment with it. So figure out, and it's going to be different for everyone, figure out, when was the first time you felt a detriment or lack or a bad vibe in that area? Go to the root of it. See what's going on. Write it down if you have to. I'm a big fan of writing shit down. And then go to the most recent time that you felt a detriment or lack or felt bad in that area. And I promise you, there could be some things that are going to be aligned, and you resurrect those bad boys. You let those motherfuckers go. Like a Jesus, he was resurrected on the third day. He rose again from the dead. He was born again, right? He rose up out of the crypt. Yeah, if you want to go with that fucking story. And then you remove the bodies from the cemetery and you're free to build as much fucking houses as you want.